Hello again YouTube, and welcome back to Just Get a Tesla. And the question in this week's video is, why is this Just Get a Tesla and not Just Get a Polestar or Just Get an MG or Just Get any other kind of EV? What is it about Tesla that's right? So look, the first thing to note here is I am not saying that there is a right answer and a wrong answer when it comes to EVs. I'm not saying that at all. But why did I just get a Tesla rather than the Polestar that I seriously considered, or Hyundai Ioniq 5 that I seriously considered? And the answer to that is just, well, okay, let me give you an analogy. Tesla is iPhone and every other EV brand is Android. Okay, and let me explain what that means. So the significant reason why I decided on Tesla rather than everything else, in the end, the one thing that really tipped the scale was that with Tesla, everything is integrated together. Okay, the car, the charging network, the software that drives all of it, the constant over-the-air updates, it's seamless. And that for me is how having an EV and the experience should be. It's not to say that other cars haven't got bits of that, because sure, they have. But when I do a long trip in this car, I tell the navigation where I'm going, and sometimes I just feed through to the car from the comforts of my home on an app, basically saying, send me here, you know, and then send to car, and then the car sets the route up and it tells me where to go, and it tells me when I need to stop and for how long, and it's telling its own network that I am going to that supercharger, and it knows how many other cars are already at the supercharger and are en route. It is planning across its entire network of vehicles what is going on, and you just do not get that with everybody else. Okay, and it's very similar to Apple, where iPhone and iPad and Mac, it's all integrated into this walled garden infrastructure, and you might not like that. And I was an Apple refuser for a long time because I didn't want to be stuck inside this walled garden. But actually YouTube was the thing that forced me to go inside it, because to do video editing, it really, Mac was the best option. And once you go Mac, you don't go back. And I've now gone Apple on everything, because the walled garden of, you know, infrastructure all integrated together is absolutely blooming marvelous. And it is the same with Tesla. And like Apple, Teslas are very well designed and built from the ground up specifically for the task in hand, and they are extremely functional with some breakthrough design work. The big screen and everything on it, they weren't first, but the way that they run it was first. Giga casting, these ginormous metal castings for the entire front and rear of the car, that is something new, and it's something that even the likes of Toyota are now copying, right? Where Tesla go, everybody else eventually follows, and the Chinese are now following Tesla, and that is going to force the likes of Volkswagen, as an example, to have to do the same thing as Toyota are now doing. So that's the Apple iPhone side of it. That's what Tesla are. Everybody else are on Android, and here's why. You can go out and buy any kind of EV that you want, right? You have got some genuinely brilliant small EVs built by Stellantis, so Vauxhall Corsa, Peugeot 208, or the van versions, or all of those things. They have electrified their platforms and seemingly do it brilliantly. Okay, they're not creating standalone platforms, but they've got something where they can drop an electric powertrain in and it just works, and it's affordable, and it is understandable by your average punter. So you've got that. You've got a huge now middle ground where you can go out and you can buy an Ioniq 5 or 6 or Polestar 3, or you can have electric versions of BMW X3, or they've got a whole load of i vehicles now, Mercedes, are doing it. And then of course, just like Android, you have got the premium and the super premium flagship end. So I don't know, Mercedes EQS, or that Lotus where the name, I can't even remember what it's called. I saw one once and was like, anyway, you've got those sorts of things. But here is where, just like Android, it isn't a cohesive infrastructure. It's not a walled garden ecosystem, because each one of these guys does something a little bit different. And how can I put this? I think the big falling down for me with the likes of Mercedes, and let's use Mercedes as an example. Mercedes electric powertrain is not efficient, okay? It burns a lot of energy for the amount of effort that you get. It's like having a really thirsty petrol or diesel engine. And their excuse basically is, well, it's a Mercedes, it's absolutely fine, it's whatever. People want Mercedes. And they then set out and said, okay, we're going to create this EQ series of vehicles. So they create basically something that's got this modern looking body shell to it, and underneath it's the exact same car as a petrol or diesel car. So they're not even pretending that it's the same vehicle, even though that it is, and their implementation of electrifying it isn't very good, which is why Mercedes are now dropping EQ, because it has bombed. But I think part of the reason why it has bombed is there is this arrogance amongst the legacy auto manufacturers, and especially the German ones, that what punters really want is Audi or Mercedes or BMW or whatever it is, exactly as they are. And if it's Audi especially and Mercedes and really BMW, that means a ridiculous looking grille, even though it doesn't need a grille, with all of the stupid design decisions built around the fact that they're making this vehicle designed to have an engine inserted under the bonnet on the same production line as cars that have an engine inserted under the bonnet. So they're a terrible use of space, and they're grossly inefficient in the way that they're packaged together. So you've got all of these design compromises where they don't entirely care. You've then got the charging experience, because it's the wild, wild west in terms of public charging in the UK. You're going to be paying top dollar for that charge. So you're getting a slow charge and you're getting an expensive charge, and you've got the choice of, they might sell you again as a premium, a key fob that gets you access to some of these things. Otherwise, choose your charger, choose your network, choose which different app or registration and things you have to go through before the thing starts vending your very expensive and slowly served electrons. Not like that with Tesla. Again, there is a big point of difference. Then of course we have the other thing, okay? How can I put this? All of the legacy car manufacturers are in hock to their dealership network partner businesses, okay? Most of the time they don't own the Mercedes dealership, the BMW dealership. Those are owned by another company who obviously are in partnership with them. And your car dealership makes some money off selling the car, but it really makes its money from servicing. So it really is in everybody's interests that your electric car still has to come in for a regular service, to have all of the gubbins that it doesn't have, because it's not a petrol or diesel car, serviced. And I know this is true because look at the service intervals and the costs on practically everything that isn't Tesla. They are going to absolutely make a killing out of you, and you have to do it or the warranty is void. And they're not actually doing anything, because the stuff that needs servicing in a petrol or diesel car simply doesn't exist. You don't have a petrol or diesel engine, and you don't have all of the ancillaries and all of the other stuff to do with petrol and diesel. There's nothing to service, but you've still got to go in, pay them top whack, or you don't have a warranty. Again, this is basically, that's the only part of closed ecosystem there is, and it's beneficial to everyone except for you, because they're the people who are cleaning up on it. So why just get a Tesla? Well, in the end, right, I get bored of the faff of owning other makes, right? And Hyundai was seriously considered. We've had quite a few Hyundais. We've had 2 Ioniqs. We have had an i30, no, 2 i30s. We even had a Getz way back in the midst of time, right? Hyundai build fantastic cars, but you still have got the whole problem of going through the dealership network and having to mess around with that and getting the thing serviced and the costs of doing that. Okay, Polestar, I adored my Volvo S90 with the major exception of the dealership experience, which was bordering on the criminal at times. Okay, the number of times I had to take that vehicle back in for them to plug a laptop into it and then argue with me about who was going to pay for the diagnostics and who was going to pay for this when it's under warranty, right? Because, well, we don't want to pay, Volvo UK don't want to pay, so we think you should pay. How about no? None of that with Tesla. None of that with Tesla. And you do get all of that with everybody else. So this for me is the point. You've got iPhone and you've got a whole load of Android. And that's not to say that Android is bad, because I was an early adopter of Android and I still have Android on other handsets, and Android works. Android is good. It's just that iPhone is better. And I think that's the point. I am not dismissing the people out there who've got a Hyundai or a Mercedes or a Peugeot or any of the Chinese brands or whatever EV. I'm not dismissing them at all. And for some people, they will absolutely be a better choice than Tesla. They absolutely will be. But if you want the manufacturer who has broken the mold, literally with the way that they build cars, literally with the way that they service cars and that the financial package works, and completely blown away the market with regards to the way that cars should be designed and operated, in that it's actually a giant computer system on wheels, yes, and a car second. Although you can still hustle this thing along, and you're still buying Teslas out there that are ludicrously fast and have the name ludicrous in the title. But I know the piston heads hate all of that kind of stuff, that Tesla actually is good to drive. And it is. One pedal driving is sensational once you get used to it. And it took me a while, right? But it's just that difference. Tesla, it's all in one place. With everybody else, it's a bit chaotic. It's a bit all over the place. And it's just that swings and roundabouts thing. So to sum it all back up, why just get a Tesla instead of just get a Polestar? For me, Tesla was the aspirational thing, was the groundbreaking thing, was the that's what people want thing. And here in 2024, despite the fact that there are a lot more EVs on the market now than there were in 2022, I still think that's the case. And given that last year the Tesla Model Y was the best-selling car of any description in the world, right, in the world, I think there is an argument to be made that just get a Tesla is the approach that actually everybody is taking. Think about it. And while you're thinking about it, and after you've been thinking about it, let me know in the comments, what do you think? I'm sorry that this is a driving and talking video. I think I'm allowed to do a few of these here and there, but I did get asked this question, well, why just get a Tesla? So here it is, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. What should I have got instead? And would you be watching if I was? And maybe we can set it up. Shall I do a YouTube channel about my 2009 Hyundai i30? I have had a few people responding to previous videos where I run through costs, saying, but my 2003 Toyota Yaris is much cheaper. It's like, yes. So a car that's 20 years old and has 1/5 of the power output of this is cheaper than this. Well, wow, that's a revelation. But hey guys, if you want me to do just get a 2009 Hyundai, I'm all up for it. Let me know. And on that intriguing opportunity, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please use my referral code if you want to buy a Tesla. You can get £1,000, €1,000, $1,000, your choice of dollars off the car if you use my referral code. And I'll see you back here very soon on Just Get a Tesla.